And you're not just letting it happen. You're actively participating in your own mediocrity. Every time you choose the easy path, every time you opt for convenience over growth, every time you settle for good enough, you're not just stagnating you. You're actively moving backward. The world doesn't stand still while you rest in your comfort zone. While you're comfortable, someone else is pushing themselves beyond their limits. While you're settling, someone else is stretching. While you're taking it easy, someone else is taking your spot at the top. The most dangerous lie isn't the one others tell you. It's the one you tell yourself when you say you'll start pushing tomorrow. There's a moment that defines us. A moment when we look in the mirror and see not just our reflection, but the truth of who we've become. For some, that moment arrives in the depths of night, when the world grows quiet and our thoughts grow loud. For others, it strikes like lightning in broad daylight, amid the ordinary bustle of an otherwise unremarkable day. Let me tell you something profound about success that most people never grasp. Success isn't what we achieve. It's who we become in the process of achievement. And who we become, well, that's determined by what we do every single day when no one else is watching. You know, I meet people all the time who tell me they want to be successful. They say it with such conviction, such passion in their eyes. But here's the truth that cuts deep. Wanting success is easy. Everyone wants success. The real question isn't whether you want it. It's whether you're willing to become the person capable of achieving it. Think about your day yesterday. Really think about it. What time did you wake up? What was the first thing you did? What did you eat? How did you spend those precious morning hours? How many minutes? Be honest now. Did you spend scrolling through your phone, consuming other people's lives instead of building your own? These aren't just random questions. These are the building blocks of your future. Every single one of those decisions is either pushing you toward excellence or pulling you toward mediocrity. There is no neutral ground. Let me share something with you that might shake you to your core. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't measured in miles or months. It's measured in decisions. Small, seemingly insignificant decisions that you make every single day. Decisions that nobody sees, nobody applauds, and nobody criticizes. But these decisions accumulate like drops of water forming a mighty river. You see, winners, true winners, understand something that the rest of the world doesn't. They understand that success isn't a destination you arrive at one day with fanfare and celebration. Success is the natural consequence of consistently making the harder right choice instead of the easier wrong one. When your alarm goes off in the morning, that's not just a wake-up call, it's a decision point. Will you rise immediately, embracing the day with purpose? Or will you hit snooze, already negotiating with yourself, already compromising your standards? That single decision might seem small, but it sets the tone for everything that follows. Do you know what separates extraordinary achievers from everyone else? It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not even intelligence, it's their relationship with discomfort. Winners have learned to embrace discomfort as a signal that they're growing, that they're pushing boundaries, that they're becoming more than they were yesterday. But let's get really honest here. How many of us actively seek out discomfort? How many of us deliberately put ourselves in situations that challenge us, that make us uncomfortable, that force us to grow? Most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid discomfort, and then they wonder why they're stuck in the same place year after year. You've got to understand something crucial. Your comfort zone is not a place to live. It's a place to visit occasionally. Living there permanently is a slow death of your potential. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're making a statement about who you want to become. And that statement echoes through time, shaping your future in ways you can't yet see. I want you to think about something. What would your life look like if you pushed yourself just one harder every single day? Not 100, not some dramatic, unsustainable change. Just one more rep when you're working out. 5 more minutes of focused work when you're tired. One more page of that book you're reading. One more call to a potential client. That one might not seem like much in the moment. But compound that over a week, a month, a year, and suddenly you're operating at a level that your old self wouldn't recognize. That's the power of incremental growth, of consistent daily push. But here's where most people get it wrong. They wait for motivation to strike before they take action. They wait to feel ready. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect circumstance. And while they're waiting, life is passing them by. Winners understand that action precedes motivation, not the other way around. You don't have to feel motivated to start. You don't have to feel confident to begin. You don't have to have it all figured out to take the first step. You just have to make the decision that from this moment forward, you're going to push yourself every single day, regardless of how you feel. Think about the greatest achievements in human history. None of them happened because someone felt particularly motivated one morning. They happened because someone made a decision to push forward, day after day, regardless of circumstances, regardless of feelings, regardless of obstacles. Your life right now? Every aspect of it is a reflection of your past decisions. Your health, your relationships, your financial situation, your career, your personal growth. All of it is the accumulated result of the choices you've made up until this point. If you want different results, you need to make different decisions. But here's the beautiful thing about decisions. You can make a new one at any moment. Right now, in this very instant, you can decide to become the kind of person who pushes themselves every day. You can decide to become someone who doesn't wait for permission, doesn't wait for validation, doesn't wait for perfect conditions. The question you need to ask yourself isn't, what do I want? The question is, what am I willing to push myself through to get what I want? Because success isn't about what you want. It's about what you're willing to endure. It's about what you're willing to sacrifice. It's about how hard you're willing to push when everything inside you is screaming to stop. Winners understand this at a bone-deep level. They understand that every day presents countless opportunities to either push forward or pull back, to either grow or stagnate, to either become more or settle for less. And they make their choice consciously, deliberately, consistently. When you really think about it, every single day is a battle between who you are and who you could become. Every decision, every action, every response is either moving you toward your potential or away from it. There is no standing still. You're either growing or you're dying, pushing forward or falling behind. The world is full of people who know what they should do but don't do it. They know they should wake up earlier, work harder, eat better, read more, save more, give more. But knowing isn't enough. Knowledge without action is like having a map, but never taking the journey. It's pointless. What separates winners from everyone else isn't knowledge. It's action. It's the willingness to do what needs to be done, especially when they don't feel like it. It's the ability to push through resistance, to break through barriers, to keep going when everyone else would quit. Think about the last time you pushed yourself beyond what you thought you were capable of. Remember how it felt afterward, that mix of exhaustion and exhilaration, that deep satisfaction of knowing you didn't take the easy way out? That feeling is growth. That feeling is progress. That feeling is you becoming more than you were before. But let me tell you something that might challenge everything you believe about success. The greatest opponent you'll ever face isn't out there in the world. It's the voice in your head that whispers, not today. Maybe tomorrow. You're not ready yet. That voice sounds like wisdom, but it's really fear dressed up in reasonable clothes. Every morning, when winners push themselves to rise before the sun, they're not just fighting physical fatigue. They're fighting that voice. When they choose the salad over the burger, they're not just making a dietary choice. When they stay late to perfect their craft while others rush home, they're not just putting in extra hours, they're defeating internal resistance. You see, pushing yourself isn't about grandiose gestures or dramatic transformations. It's about winning the small battles that nobody sees. It's about choosing growth when comfort beckons. It's about pushing through one more rep, one more page, one more call, one more attempt when everything inside you is begging to stop. Let me share a profound truth about human potential. You are capable of 10 times more than you believe possible, 10 times more strength, 10 times more resilience, 10 times more achievement. The only thing holding you back is your own self. Winners understand this. They don't just push against external resistance. They push against their own perceived limits. Think about your biggest goal right now, the one that makes your heart race a little faster when you think about it, the one that seems just out of reach. Now, multiply that goal by 10. That's not unrealistic. That's your actual potential. The original goal you set, that was your fear talking. That was your comfort zone negotiating. That was your past conditioning limiting your future possibilities. Every single day, winners make the conscious decision to live as if that 10x potential is their reality. They don't wait until they feel capable. They act capable until the feeling catches up. They don't wait until they feel confident. They act confident until confidence becomes their natural state. But here's what most people miss about pushing yourself. It's not about punishment. It's not about grinding yourself down. It's about expansion. It's about becoming more. Every time you push past your perceived limits, you're not just achieving more. Your capacity for achievement, for success, for impact is expanding. When you push yourself in your business, you're not just building a company. You're building character. When you push yourself in the gym, you're not just building muscle. You're building mental toughness. When you push yourself to learn new skills, you're not just acquiring knowledge. You're developing adaptability. Success leaves clues. And one of the biggest clues is this: winners make their daily push as ritualistic as breathing. They don't debate whether they should push themselves today. They've already decided that pushing themselves is simply what they do. It's not a choice they make. It's an identity they embody. But let's talk about something that most motivational messages miss: the art of strategic rest. You see, pushing yourself doesn't mean running yourself into the ground. Winners understand that recovery isn't weakness. It's preparation for the next push. They work hard, yes, but they work smart. They push themselves to the edge, but they know where that edge is. Think about a rubber band. Its value lies not just in its ability to stretch, but in its ability to maintain its integrity while stretching. Push too hard without proper recovery, and it snaps. Don't push hard enough, and it loses its elasticity. Winners find that sweet spot, the maximum stretch that allows for optimal rebound. This is where most people get it wrong. They either push so hard they burn out, or they use the need for rest as an excuse to never really push at all. Winners understand that pushing yourself is about sustainability, not just intensity. They know that. Today's push must leave enough in the tank for tomorrow's battle. Every single day presents you with dozens of opportunities to push yourself when you're tired, but there's work to be done. That's an opportunity. When you're comfortable but growth beckons, that's an opportunity. When you're scared but action is required, that's an opportunity. Winners recognize these moments for what they are: chances to prove to themselves who they're becoming. Let me ask you something. What story are you telling yourself about your capacity for growth? What limitations have you accepted as truth without ever really testing them? What boundaries have you set for yourself based on past experiences rather than future possibilities? The quality of your life is directly proportional to the number of uncomfortable conversations you're willing to have with others, yes, but more importantly, with yourself. Winners have these conversations daily. They constantly challenge their own assumptions, question their limitations, and push against their comfort zones. When you push yourself, you're not just changing your actions, you're changing your self-image. Every time you do something you thought was impossible, you rewrite the story of who you are and what you're capable of. This is why winners seem to operate in a different reality. Because they do. They've pushed themselves into a dimension of possibility that most people never experience. Every great achievement in your life so far came from pushing yourself beyond your previous limitations. Every skill you've mastered, every obstacle you've overcome, every goal you've reached, all of them required you to become more than you were before. The question is, why stop there? Why accept any limitations on your potential? The winners understand that comfort is the enemy of growth. They know that the moment they become comfortable with their current level of achievement is the moment they begin to decline. This is why they constantly seek new challenges, new mountains to climb, new limits to push against. But pushing yourself isn't just about personal achievement. It's about impact. When you push yourself to become more, you expand your capacity to contribute, to serve, to make a difference. Your growth isn't just about you. It's about everyone your life touches, everyone your work impacts, everyone your example inspires. Think about the ripple effect of one person pushing themselves to excellence. They inspire others to push themselves. Those others inspire still more people. Before long, an entire community, an entire organization, an entire generation is raising their standards, pushing their limits, expanding their possibilities. This is the hidden power of pushing yourself like winners do. You become a living example of what's possible. Your daily push, your consistent growth, your unwavering commitment to excellence becomes a light that shows others the way. You become proof that limitations are self-imposed, that potential is vastly greater than most people imagine. That success is available to those willing to push for it. The decision to push yourself every day is really a decision about who you want to become. It's a decision about what kind of life you want to live. It's a decision about what kind of impact you want to have. Winners make this decision consciously, repeatedly, unfailingly. They understand that every push, every stretch, every uncomfortable moment is shaping not just their capabilities, but their character. The hardest truth about success is this: your potential will always exceed your current performance. Always. No matter how far you've come, no matter how much you've achieved, there's always another level. And reaching that next level requires something that most people aren't willing to give. Consistent, deliberate, uncomfortable effort. You see, most people live their lives at about 40% of their true capacity. They do enough to get by, enough to avoid criticism, enough to maintain their current position. But winners, true winners, understand that living at 40% is a form of self-betrayal. They understand that every time you operate below your potential, you're not just underperforming, you're undermining your own destiny. Let me tell you something about human nature that might change how you view your daily efforts. Your mind is designed to protect you from discomfort. It's programmed to seek pleasure and avoid pain. This was great for survival in prehistoric times, but in today's world, this same mechanism often protects you right out of your dreams, right out of your destiny, right out of your potential. When you feel resistance toward taking action, when you feel that pull toward comfort and ease, that's not a signal to stop. That's a signal that you're on the verge of growth. Winners have learned to reinterpret these signals. Where others see warning signs, they see welcome signs. Where others feel fear, they think about water for a moment. When does water become pure? When it's pushed through resistance. When does steel become strong? When it's pushed through fire. When does a diamond form under intense pressure? This isn't just poetry. It's a fundamental law of growth and transformation. Anything valuable in life requires pushing through resistance. But here's where it gets interesting. The resistance you feel toward pushing yourself isn't just about the task at hand. It's about identity. Every time you push yourself, you're challenging your current self-image. You're saying to yourself, I am more than what I've been. I am more than what I've done. I am more than what others expect of me. This identity shift is what makes pushing yourself so challenging and so transformative. When you push yourself consistently, you're not just changing your actions, you're changing your self-concept. You're rewiring your brain to expect more from yourself, to demand more from life, to create more impact in the world. Consider this. Now, every time you push yourself beyond your comfort zone, you're not just building strength or skill, you're building evidence. Evidence that you're capable of more. Evidence that your limits are self-imposed. Evidence that excellence isn't something you do occasionally. It's something you are fundamentally. Winners understand that this evidence-building process is crucial. They don't wait for confidence to push themselves. They push themselves to build confidence. They don't wait for motivation to take action. They take action to generate motivation. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They create conditions through their daily push. Let me share a profound truth about human achievement. Your daily push creates momentum, and momentum is the most powerful force in personal development. When you push yourself consistently, day after day, you create a force that begins to carry you forward. What started as difficult becomes doable. What was once impossible becomes inevitable. But here's what most people miss about momentum. It works both ways. Every time you choose comfort over growth, every time you choose easy over challenging, every time you choose mediocrity over excellence, you're creating negative momentum. You're training yourself to settle, to accept less, to become less. Winners understand this principle at a bone-deep level. They know that every decision either pushes them toward their potential or pulls them toward mediocrity. There is no neutral ground. Every choice, every action, every response is either building positive momentum or creating drag on their progress. Think about your last week. How many opportunities did you have to push yourself? How many did you take? How many did you let slip by? Each of those moments was a vote for who you're becoming. Each was a brick in the foundation of your future self. The beautiful thing about pushing yourself is that it compounds over time. Just as money grows through compound interest, personal excellence grows through compound effort. Every push builds on previous pushes. Every victory creates the platform for greater victories. Every breakthrough leads to bigger breakthroughs. But let's talk about something that most people misunderstand about pushing yourself. It's not about being perfect. It's not about never failing or never falling short. It's about your response when you do fall short. Winners don't use failure as an excuse to stop pushing. They use it as feedback to push smarter. When you push yourself consistently, you develop what I call pressure immunity. Just as your muscles develop immunity to certain types of stress through repeated exposure, your mind develops immunity to pressure through consistent pushing. What once seemed overwhelming becomes manageable. What once seemed impossible becomes achievable. Consider the Navy SEAL undergoing training. The first time they face extreme physical challenges, it's overwhelming, but through consistent exposure to pressure, through daily pushing beyond comfort, they develop not just physical strength, but mental fortitude. They don't become immune to discomfort. They become comfortable with being uncomfortable. This is the level of psychological strength that consistent pushing develops. You don't eliminate fear. You learn to push through it. You don't eliminate doubt. You learn to act despite it. You don't eliminate resistance. You learn to use it as fuel for growth. Every single day presents you with chances to build this kind of strength. Every meeting, every workout, every project, every interaction is an opportunity to push yourself to a higher standard. Winners recognize these opportunities and seize them consistently. They understand that excellence isn't an act. It's a habit formed through daily pushing. But here's something crucial about pushing yourself. It's not just about what you do. It's about who you become in the process. Every time you push through resistance, you're not just accomplishing a task. You're building character. Every time you choose the hard or right over the easy or wrong, you're not just making a decision, you're shaping your destiny. Think about the last time you pushed yourself beyond what was comfortable. Remember how it felt during the push, the resistance, the doubt, the urge to quit. Now remember how it felt afterward, the satisfaction, the pride, the expanded sense of what's possible. That feeling of accomplishment isn't just emotion, it's evidence. Evidence that you're capable of more than you typically demand from yourself. Winners understand that this evidence-building process is crucial for long-term success. They don't just push themselves for immediate results. They push themselves to build a library of personal proof. Proof that they can be counted on. Proof that they can break through barriers. Proof that they can achieve what others consider impossible. The world is full of people waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel certain, waiting to feel comfortable before they push themselves. But readiness is a myth. Certainty is an illusion. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Winners push themselves not because they feel ready, but because they understand that pushing creates readiness. They push not because they feel certain, but because they know that pushing creates clarity. They push not because it's comfortable, but because they know that comfort is the prison of potential. Success leaves clues, and one of the most significant clues is winners don't just push themselves occasionally. They build systems that make pushing themselves inevitable. They create environments that pull the best out of them. They structure their lives so that excellence becomes the path of least resistance. You see, willpower alone isn't enough. Motivation alone isn't enough. Even desire alone isn't enough. The key to pushing yourself consistently lies in the systems you create, the habits you build, and the standards you refuse to compromise. Winners understand that their environment either works for them or against them. There is no neutral ground. Let me share something profound about human behavior. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if your daily systems don't support that ambition, you'll always fall. Winners create systems that make their daily push automatic, inevitable, almost effortless. Think about your morning routine. Is it designed to push you toward excellence, or does it allow for mediocrity? Do your surroundings inspire you to reach higher, or do they tempt you to settle? Are the people in your life pushing you to grow, or are they keeping you comfortable? These aren't just random circumstances. They're elements of your success system. But here's what most people miss about creating these systems. It's not about making things harder. It's about making the right things easier. Winners structure their environment so that pushing themselves becomes the default option. They make excellence convenient and mediocrity inconvenient. Consider this. If you want to push yourself to read more, don't just set a goal. Create a system. Put books everywhere. Remove social media apps from your phone. Set up your favorite chair with perfect lighting. Make reading the easiest entertainment option available. The system makes the push automatic. The same principle applies to every area of life. Want to push yourself in fitness? Don't just buy a gym membership. Set out your workout clothes the night before. Schedule your training like you schedule important meetings. Find a workout partner who holds you accountable. The system creates the push. First, winners understand that their daily push isn't just about individual actions. It's about creating cascading victories. Each small win builds momentum for the next win. Each positive choice makes the next positive choice easier. Each push creates energy for the next push. But let me tell you something crucial about this process. The first push of the day is the most important. Winners understand that how you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. That's why they push themselves hardest first thing in the morning. They know that winning the morning means winning the day. Think about the last time you had an incredibly productive day. Chances are it started with a strong morning push. Maybe you woke up early, exercised, read, planned your day. Whatever the specifics, you started with momentum. That's not coincidence. That's causation. Your morning push creates a success spiral that affects everything that follows. This is why winners are so protective of their morning routine. They understand that those early hours are sacred time. Time to push themselves before the world starts pushing them. Time to strengthen their mind before the day tests their resolve. Time to build momentum before obstacles appear. But here's something most people miss about the morning push. It actually starts the night before. Winners know that they can't win the morning if they lose the evening. They create evening routines that set them up for success. They plan tomorrow's push today. They eliminate late night distractions that would rob them of morning energy. Consider how different your life would be if you approached each day like this. If you saw each morning as an opportunity to push yourself toward excellence, each evening as preparation for tomorrow's push, each moment as a chance to raise your standards just a little bit higher. The power of this approach lies in its compound effect. Just as money grows through compound interest, excellence grows through compound effort. Each day's push builds on the previous day's progress. Each small victory creates the foundation for larger victories. Each moment of discipline strengthens your capacity for future discipline. But let me share something profound about this compound effect. It works in both directions. Every time you skip your morning push, every time you choose comfort over growth, every time you settle for less than your best, you're not just losing that day's progress, you're weakening your success system. You're creating negative compound interest on your potential. Winners understand this principle at a bone-deep level. They know that every day is a vote for who they're becoming. Every push strengthens their success system. Every disciplined choice reinforces their winning identity. Every moment of discomfort embraced expands their capacity for growth. Think about the habits that currently shape your life. Are they pushing you toward your potential, or are they keeping you comfortable? Are they strengthening your success system, or are they undermining it? Are they voting for the person you want to become, or are they keeping you trapped in who you've been? The beautiful thing about systems is that once they're established, they create their own momentum. What started as conscious effort becomes unconscious excellence. What began as deliberate push becomes automatic progress. What was once difficult becomes natural. But here's the key. You have to push yourself long enough for the system to take hold. Winners understand that there's a gap between starting a new push and seeing results, and they're willing to keep pushing through that gap. They know that the system will eventually create momentum, but only if they stay consistent in their push. Consider how this principle applies to learning new skills. At first, the push is constant. Every movement is conscious, every decision deliberate, but with consistent pushing, the skills become automatic. The excellence becomes embedded. The push becomes natural. This is why winners are so focused on their daily habits. They understand that habits are the building blocks of their success system. Each habit either strengthens or weakens the system. Each routine either supports or undermines their push toward excellence. Each choice either builds or breaks their momentum. Let me tell you something crucial about building these success systems. They don't have to be perfect to be effective. Winners don't wait for perfect conditions to start pushing themselves. They don't wait for perfect understanding to begin building their system. They start where they are, with what they have, and refine the system as they go. Think about your current success system. What one change could you make today that would make pushing yourself easier tomorrow? What one habit could you establish that would create positive momentum? What one standard could you raise that would lift all other standards? The power of a success system lies not in its complexity, but in its consistency. Winners don't need elaborate systems. They need effective ones. They don't need perfect systems. They need systems that work. They don't need permanent systems. They need systems that can evolve as they grow. Every time you push yourself, you're not just taking action, you're strengthening your success system. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you're not just making progress, you're reinforcing winning habits. Every time you embrace discomfort, you're not just building strength, you're expanding your capacity for excellence. Winners understand that their daily push isn't just about what they achieve, it's about what they become. The systems they build, the habits they establish, the standards they maintain. These aren't just tools for success. They're the framework for transformation. They're the architecture of excellence. They're the foundation of legacy. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must decide who they truly are. Not who they've been. Not who others think they are. Not who circumstances have forced them to be, but who they choose to become. That moment isn't in the future. That moment is now, right here, in this room. You see, life has a way of showing us what we're made of, not through the big moments, not through the dramatic challenges, but through the small daily decisions to push ourselves when pushing seems impossible. Through the quiet victories nobody sees, through the internal battles nobody knows about. Let me share something profound about human potential that most people never grasp. Your capacity for growth isn't determined by your past. It's determined by your willingness to push yourself in the present. Every single moment offers a choice. Will you push toward your potential, or will you settle for your current reality? Winners understand that this choice isn't made once, it's made thousands of times each day in how they think, in how they speak, in how they respond to challenges, in how they handle disappointment, in how they approach opportunity. Each choice is a vote for who they're becoming. Think about the person you want to become. Really think about it. See them clearly in your mind. How do they think? How do they carry themselves? How do they handle challenges? How do they treat others? How do they push themselves? That person isn't some distant future possibility. That person is created through your choices right now. The gap between who you are and who you want to become isn't filled with time. It's filled with daily pushes, with conscious choices, with deliberate actions, with consistent effort. Winners understand that they don't become excellent by accident. They become excellent by design. But here's something crucial about this journey. Becoming is not about reaching a destination. It's not about arriving at some perfect state. It's about constant evolution, about pushing beyond your current limitations, about expanding your conception of what's possible. Consider this: every limit you currently accept was taught to you by someone else or self-imposed through past experiences. Every barrier you see was built by beliefs, not reality. Every ceiling you perceive was created by perception, not possibility. Winners understand this at their core. They know that limits exist only in the mind, and the mind can be retrained through consistent pushing. When you push yourself every day, something remarkable happens. Your standards rise, your expectations expand, your capacity grows. What once seemed impossible becomes routine. What once seemed unreachable becomes within grasp. What once seemed extraordinary becomes your new normal. But let me tell you something profound about this process of growth. This never gets easier. You just become stronger. Winners don't seek ease. They seek growth. They don't want comfort. They want expansion. They don't desire security. They desire impact. You think about the greatest achievements in human history. Every single one of them came from someone pushing beyond what others thought possible. Every innovation, every breakthrough, every leap forward came from someone who refused to accept current limitations as permanent boundaries. The world desperately needs people willing to push themselves toward excellence, not for recognition, not for reward, not for applause, but because excellence is the natural expression of their potential, because pushing themselves is how they honor their gifts, because becoming more is how they serve others. Consider the ripple effect of one person committed to daily excellence. Their push inspires others to push. Their growth encourages others to grow. Their transformation catalyzes transformation in others. One person pushing themselves toward excellence can literally change the world. But here's what most people miss about this kind of impact. It doesn't come from occasional pushes or sporadic effort. It comes from consistent daily commitment to excellence, from pushing yourself when no one is watching, from maintaining high standards when no one would know if you lowered them. Winners understand that their daily push isn't just about personal achievement. It's about contribution. Every time they push themselves to excellence, they raise the standards for everyone around them. Every time they break through their limitations, they show others what's possible. Every time they choose growth over comfort, they inspire others to do the same. Think about the legacy you want to leave. Not just the achievements you want to be remembered for, but the impact you want to have, the lives you want to touch, the change you want to create. That legacy isn't built through occasional excellence. It's built through daily pushing. The beautiful thing about pushing yourself every day is that it creates a new normal. What once required conscious effort becomes automatic. What once demanded willpower becomes habit. What once seemed like pushing becomes your natural way of. But here's something crucial about this new normal. It's not about reaching a plateau. It's about establishing a new baseline for growth. Winners understand that each new level of achievement isn't a place to rest. It's a platform to push from. Each new capability isn't a finish line. It's a starting point. Consider how this principle applies to every area of life. In relationships, you push yourself to become more understanding, more supportive, more present. In business, you push yourself to become more innovative, more effective, more. In personal growth, you push yourself to become more disciplined, more resilient, more capable. The world will try to convince you to settle, to accept less than your best, to be satisfied with mediocrity. But deep inside, you know you're capable of more. Deep inside, you feel the pull toward excellence. Deep inside, you hear the call to push yourself toward your potential. That call isn't going to get quieter with time. It's going to get louder. That pull toward excellence isn't going to diminish. It's going to intensify. That knowing that you're capable of more isn't going to fade. It's going to grow stronger. Winners understand that answering this call isn't optional. It's essential. Responding to this pull isn't a choice. It's a responsibility. Honoring this knowing isn't just about personal fulfillment. It's about universal contribution. Think about this moment right now. Really think about it. You're at a crossroads. One path leads to comfort, to safety, to the known. The other path leads to growth, to impact, to your highest potential. The choice you make isn't just about today. It's about every tomorrow that follows. The time for waiting is over. The time for excuses is past. The time for hesitation has ended. Right now, in this moment, you have everything you need to begin pushing yourself toward excellence. You have everything required to start becoming the person you're capable of being. Remember others? The world doesn't need more people who are merely successful. It needs more people who are truly excellent. It doesn't need more people who achieve. It needs more people who transform. It doesn't need more people who accumulate. It needs more people who contribute. Your daily push toward excellence isn't just about you. It's about everyone your life touches. Everyone your example inspires. Everyone your transformation empowers. When you push yourself every day like winners do, you become living proof of what's possible. You become evidence that limitations are self-imposed. You become inspiration for others to push themselves toward their potential. The choice is yours. The time is now. The opportunity is here. Will you push yourself toward excellence? Will you embrace the challenge of daily growth? Will you answer the call to become all that you're capable of being? The world is waiting for your answer. Your potential is waiting for your push. Your legacy is waiting for your decision.